While I agree that soccer is more popular now than it ever has been, I also allocate a lot of that to the fact we have more illegal immigrants than we ever have been, and that there's more people from third world countries.
Jesus
grew up
Christ.
there.
Dude.
We got 20 million people here that are from places that soccer's their sport that weren't here before.
You didn't
but if
have
you're
to
looking
say
at
that. How we doing, everybody? We are Two Johns and a Mike.
So now I wanna go to Michael's cake.
don't eat the cake.
What cake are we not eating today?
So mine is in regards to all the hype over soccer, and I know John already disagrees with me on this, but I know everyone's like, soccer's going, it's growing, it's going to be the next big thing, and I understand there's a lot of hype over the World Cup, but I just don't see America adopting soccer the way everyone seems they want. And I've even called up some numbers to pull it out there. And while I agree that soccer is more popular now than it ever has been, I also allocate a lot of that to the fact we have more illegal immigrants than we ever have been, and that there's more people from third world countries.
Jesus
grew up
Christ.
there.
Dude.
We got 20 million people here that are from places that soccer's their sport that weren't here before.
You didn't
but
have
if
to
you're
say
looking
that.
But it's a
I
statistic.
get what you're saying.
I'm not trying to get political. I'm trying to be statistic. I don't.
And I agree with you on this point, Michael, but like, come on.
But I also called up some numbers. And it actually, I had AI dig into this, and it spent a good 15 minutes churning up the results. I'll give you the prompt.
Let me derail this immediately. So,
thank you, John.
No, for everybody at home, we texted about this last night, and I immediately went off. And I was using Atlanta as an example, but then I backpedaled a lot because I was trying to put it like a bigger like a big picture thing, where I don't know what level, like, some people are talking about, like soccer being like the next big thing or like overtaking other sports. Like that's not going to happen, at least not in our lifetimes. And the thing, like the window that I have is like 25 years. 25 years to get it to like a second tier, and that's because of like generations. So the only reason soccer is really, really on the map is because when the World Cup came back in 1994. So that moved the needle just a little bit, and just enough to like get MLS on the map, like get them kicked off. The MLS in the 2000s almost died. Like post 9/11, things like that. People weren't buying into soccer. It had some growth and investment in the 2010s. COVID almost killed it again. Well, I don't want to say like killed it outright, but they were on an uptick. And then COVID killed that momentum, and they're on another uptick. What World Cup does is, and when I say it's like a purely generational thing, when it comes to sports, when they get set in their sports, they get set in their sports. They don't adopt new sports like in the middle of the game. Like if you're 30 and you're a football fan or a baseball fan or whatever, you're not picking up any new sport. You might show a little bit of an interest, or you might like curling every 4 years, just because you like rocks and ice, that type of thing. But I am going to agree with Mike. Because of the World Cup, it produces overhype, and then it causes media people for clicks and what have you, and be like, "Oh, soccer's here to stay," and you're like, eh. So where it moves the needle is generationally. So this World Cup is bringing a whole bunch of younger fans in. So Even with the U.S. getting their ass kicked by Belgium, they went deep enough where you get you get a lot of like younger people that want to play soccer and things like that, and that uptick was already happening before the World Cup, and especially, and John, I don't have to tell you how much more expensive sports has gotten for parents in the past 50 years. Like
we're going to get
the
into
amount
that
of money
in another podcast.
Like
we're going to get into that, like the youth sports cost. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah,
right. And so there's two major factors that's causing the uptick. One is price of entry. It is a lot cheaper to get into, like say like a basketball. Basketball, in my opinion, basketball and soccer are the easiest to get into. It's like price wise. Baseball is a little bit difficult because especially when we were kids, like once upon a time, like getting a good glove. And if you didn't have if you were anywhere below middle class, was a chore. Like you'd had to knock over a goddamn convenience store at the age of 11 to get that glove that you wanted. And
good cleats
that's
too.
changed it. Yeah, and cleats and the whole bit. But like the highest bars of entry the highest one is hockey.
Yeah,
like you don't have to. Sorry, okay, sorry about that. But I'm just saying, like price of entry that affects things. On the way up,
right.
So we can get. And I don't want to say hockey is a privileged sport. I didn't mean that. But
it
I'm talking about
it kind of is. But Michael, you're not wrong about what you're saying. Or sorry, John, you're not wrong about what you're saying. But like, so soccer is one of the downticks of point of entry as far as cost and everything else. But that being said, hockey is still a far bigger sport in America.
And it always will be. We had this conversation. And things to bring up.
It just kind of feeds into Michael's point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like hockey is the highest expense sport that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the highest by far, right? Mm-hmm. By the way, hold on. Brady Montgomery, 3-run homer. Socks up, 6-1, no big deal. But anyway, so as a high price point sport that is not the most popular sport, it's still a much more popular sport in America than soccer is, even though with the push. So you look at every 4 years, the World Cup comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Big hype. Oh yeah, we're gonna focus on soccer, and then it fades. And then World Cup comes back up, and then it fades.
And I think another part thing of that suffers.
It's not a part of our cultural and culture. Sorry.
Right.
Until
that is a big thing.
What Michael said. So immigration does play a part of that. So if we get a bunch of more people that are interested in, you can say the same thing about cricket or rugby. You know what I mean? Cricket is a bigger sport worldwide than baseball. Well, no, not baseball. Than basketball is. Cricket is, and so is rugby.
Oh yeah.
But do we pay attention to it in the United States? Absolutely not. We do. There's a niche group of people that do, just like soccer, which is more knocking on the door than anything else. And yes, the youth groups are bigger in the soccer atmosphere than those sports.
So culturally, I think if I could just interject with culturally, one of the issues, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, but soccer is seen as too weak. If you were to look at soccer and hockey, they are basically the same game, except that one is played on ice with a puck and skates and sticks, and one is played on a field of grass. But in soccer, you look at a guy the wrong way, he falls down, and there's a penalty shot. And hockey, people are beating each other up.
So there's two caveats to this.
American values.
On the second one, if they don't solve the flopping problem, it's never going to be adopted fully.
Well, the problem is, dude, it happens in basketball too, though.
Yeah,
and it's being made fun of.
Yeah, flopping, that's only been a development like in the past 10. When they really first started doing it, guys, pretending to get punched, stuff like that. I was like, oh God, don't start this. Don't.
They didn't flop in the Jordan era.
Okay, well, let me. So, but they do now.
If you want to talk about the softening of the league,
they do now. But here, let me interject with a little bit of. Okay, this comes from my favorite broadcast that I used to listen to. It's called VSiN, Vegas Sports and Odds betting. Right. Follow the money. Where's the money being distributed on the the national scope? Who is getting the money on the TV deals? It's football, baseball, basketball, then hockey, right? So what are people going to watch? They're not going to put a bunch of money into something that they know that the general public is going to watch. Nobody's watching soccer in the Americas, right? Outside like essentially, outside of Central America, right? Or not Central America, but Northern America. There's a niche group, and they are very, very devout fans. They're watching the Premier League and everything else. But the general viewership is not going to carry enough weight where TV companies the networks are not going to supply money toward these groups in America. So follow the money. Where's it going to go? If that product is not on TV, people aren't going to watch it. So Michael's point, no, it's never going to take off.
So two things with that. And this is probably, apologies, this is probably a second conversation. When you're talking about money and TV deals and things like that, that's getting so splintered nowadays that
this is something I want to talk about, but we haven't yet. It's a separate issue.
So I want to talk about this in the future. Too. Like try, in the 90s and 2000s, finding a Cubs and a Sox game was really, really, really easy. And you could watch every one if you wanted to. Nowadays, you need subscriptions
anywhere in the country.
And things like that. But a big thing, and I like getting back like the adoption, like a big thing, and this in my opinion hinges on it. Soccer is also very, very like a regional. They're like, I want to say like New York, Miami, Atlanta, St. Louis, Chicago. Chicago's really on the bottom end of that. The Pacific Northwest, both Portland and Seattle, and LA has 2 teams. Like soccer is really, really getting a foothold there. I'm not sure if you could watch them, but
John, who's your favorite AFL team? Who's your favorite AFL team?
AFL?
Yeah, the American Football League.
Or
American Soccer League, or ASL, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay. So ASL.
Who's your favorite team?
MLS, St. Louis.
MLS, sorry, American
St. Louis
Major League Soccer team. Okay, name 3 players on that team.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah,
I can name Berkey. Damn, I'm bad with names anyway. But okay.
So you can't name 3.
Okay, but you're 100% correct. Like becoming like household names and stuff like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
But ask somebody. But
can
to
you
my
name
point,
3 Bulls?
Oh yeah, of course I can name 3 Bulls.
Yes, exactly. That's my whole point.
This is my point. Regionally, go to St. Louis and ask that same question. Go to St. Louis and ask that same question. People are answering that.
To a casual fan.
A casual fan.
Right.
And the thing that
we should do this. I would like to do a case study. Like go down the street and ask somebody if they can name 3 MLS soccer players across the league. I can't.
Right. But that's my thing, is that if those regions can't merge, or if you can't, like those things, it's like the coasts, and I'm only mentioning St. Louis because that's right. I have an entire conversation about St. Louis.
I could only mention one Chicago or one soccer team.
You know, from Atlanta to California, nobody's watching soccer from there.
That's the whole
New
point.
York to the Pacific Northwest.
So why are these TV networks going to spend money on guys that?
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing.
You see, I'm saying that's why I agree with Michael. I'm saying it's not going to take off. Not in the near future.
But I'm saying in like 25 years, that money game is it's already changing drastically now. Like the only people who are really truly like ruling that money game is the NFL. That's also and baseball. That's also and baseball and baseball because of the
that's what pays a lot of the salary. There's $11 billion in the TV deals.
baseball benefits from 163 games. And because we got to take attendance into like count as well. When it comes to baseball attendance, even though you can look again and be like, these stands are empty. If you put it all together, people go to more baseball games than everything else combined. I
have some interesting stats for you guys.
MLB has like a shocking attendance record. It's up there. And also schedule in my opinion makes a big difference. The reason the NFL, because we all love football, but it's not going anywhere is because you can set your watch on football. You know exactly when that season is, exactly, hey, Sundays are football, this and that, Saturdays are college football. That's never ever going to change.
Soccer stadiums hold a lot more people than baseball stadiums do. So the biggest baseball stadium in the world is Dodger Stadium. It holds 56,000 people, right? Okay. So if I say the Dodgers playing the Yankees and they're going to fill that stadium, but if I say who are the best two MLS teams right now?
Like that can fill stadiums, Galaxy, LA, and it'd be the Galaxy and for some, I have not figured out why Atlanta United is so popular, but it doesn't Falcons,
matter. It doesn't matter, right? So if I say Atlanta United is going to play the LA Galaxy at Soldier Field, do you think that stadium fills out? Do you think no, it doesn't? But if I say that
it fills with the
in
illegals.
That same stadium, well, stop. But if I say that in that same game, in the same stadium, that the Yankees are going to play the Dodgers at, let's just say it's going to be in Soldier Field, which holds 85,000 people. Do you think? Do you think it sells out?
No, not even. And
I think it does.
I
think it does. I'm just saying.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. I misunderstood what you said.
If the Yankees, so in the same stadium, LA Galaxy playing Atlanta United or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're going to play at Soldier Field. Okay, they're not going to sell out, right? But if the Yankees are playing the Dodgers, they're going to sell out every seat, and there's going to be standing room only.
I'm going to be there.
Exactly. So that's my whole point. That's why, and it doesn't mean that it can't change. I'm just saying that it's going to be a longer play, and
it's going to be. So even Mike, with your AI, and the thing is, I went to AI as well. We probably use different AIs, but at best, even in 25 years, at best, soccer may catch up with basketball. Like popularity will always be second tier. Like it's never
for America to embrace it.
For America to embrace it. Like maybe it catches baseball. And we're just talking. I'm talking about like a 25-year trend because
baseball is second behind football. It would have to catch hockey first, and then it would have to catch basketball.
Basketball's not further behind baseball.
It's right there.
Yeah,
it's not that far.
No, it's not far.
Basketball and baseball are suffering from a slow bleed right now.
They are.
Baseball's coming back too. So is basketball. To be honest with you.
They really so. In my opinion, for basketball to come back, it really has to go back to being a more physical game. If it goes on the trajectory of just being a 3-point shootout every game, people are going to tune out after a while. Myself included. And the thing is, I love 3-point games. I grew up on that. Every time someone hit a 3-pointer, but now it's just a 3-point contest every game. I'm like,
when basketball was the most popular, I submit, was during the Jordan Johnson Bird era, and they were battling. There were struggles going on, and they have made the game soft. And I understand some of the reasons for it, but I think that contributes to a lot of the Americans want to see hard struggle. And two things need to happen for soccer to get picked up by Americans and embraced by Americans. Two things need to happen. Number one, the flopping has to stop. It has to be a more physical game. Number two, there needs to be some kind of miracle on ice situation where America wins the World Cup, because America embraces winners and America embraces people who battle through things.
Yeah, well, America won the Olympics.
You don't have that.
What did that do for us?
in soccer?
Yeah,
and
didn't do shit.
Because I don't think that's big enough.
Yeah,
it wasn't big enough, and it should be.
That was,
and I'm not saying
I'm proving your point for you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm not saying that them winning is going to. You need to see both of those things. Right now, soccer is seen too much of a wimpy. You don't have to be that tough to play it. It's for right or wrong. Whether or not people, I mean, I know I can know the arguments people are going to make. And
soccer does unfortunately suffer from like the participation trophy attitude that people complain about. So
too many Americans from the American culture, we want to see people battling and overcoming that battle.
I agree with that.
And that's why hockey is loved. That's why football is loved. It's why baseball is loved to a certain degree. Seeing a guy pitching a no-hitter is because of not just the skill required, but the physical endurance to be able to do that.
You look at Tristan Peters making the All-Star game after being a Savannah Banana last year. Or you look at Antonacci, who played for Team Italy, put himself on the map. All of a sudden, like you look at he leads the league every single year and hit ABs. People love that. Yeah. He's a grindy guy. He's great. That's why people like the White Sox right now. Yeah. That's why they were sold out the last 3 games. You know how many times they've been sold out in the last 4 years?
Not a lot.
Once yesterday.
It's all right. Well, that's but
you know what I mean?
And I agreed. I just think for soccer to be embraced by America, it's got to change its culture because the American culture doesn't vibe with it.
Yep.
It's great for kids. It's something that kids are great for. It teaches them sports. It teaches them things, and it's safe for kids.
Yeah, just don't let my kid play it because I don't want to sit through those goddamn games.
But it's just.
Sorry,
I understand why kids play it, and they've been playing it for a long time. But and in a lot of ways, it's considered a kid's sport in American
really
society.
Did you guys see that? Right. Did you guys see that Adam Sandler movie about basketball where he plays like a assistant? He plays like an assistant coach and he does like 3 soccer jokes in there, like him going over. He's like, yeah, it's like I really hate soccer. So,
all right, guys. Well, we're running up an hour and a half here.
Yeah, there's
all right.
Hey, thanks for that, Mike. I did want to talk about soccer a little bit because that was actually I wanted to dig deep on that. So,
well, that was cool.
If we don't cover it during the World Cup, it'll never get covered. And I'm trying to be fair to all sports.
You know what's really hilarious outside of like the soccer broadcasters, like every time like World Cups comes around, everybody at say like an ESPN office goes, "Oh God damn it, this thing again." I'll have to find you this tape. Keith Olbermann has this tape of guys trying to do soccer promos in the 90s, trying to learn everybody's name. And it is hilarious. Like guys,
I gotta see that.
If I can find it, I'll pull it up. He's got like a super cut of like guys in a booth like swearing, trying to. What's this guy's name?
Well, shit, I know my brother-in-law, Logan, he works at Cosm out in L.A. Mm-hmm. So he works it's basically like the Vegas sphere, right? Mm-hmm. So he has to cover and kind of write about all the soccer games. And all I can hear him say is, I cannot wait till the World Cup is over. I'm so sick of this. It's like, I don't disagree with you, man. It's just something we don't do. It's just kind of, and speaking of, Antonacci just got hit again. That's the 25th time this year, I think. God, he's such a star.
All right. Well, let's close this out.
All right,
guys. We are 2 Johns and a Mike, and we are so happy you guys tuned in. If you did, and I hope you do. So we will be back again, and we will have more controversial topics where Michael's probably wrong and I'm probably right. And we'll move on from there. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.